Hello, and welcome to another episode on the Move.Talk.Thrive podcast. Today, we are answering a listener question around our virtual assistants. Both Em and I have worked with VAs for many years now, and so we've got some pretty good systems around utilizing them and getting them to help us achieve what we set out to achieve in our businesses without the stress. So we thought that we would answer this question on how we work with our VAs and what that can look like in different businesses. So, with that being said, let's get started.
We are child development obsessed business besties and mums, and we're here to spill all our secrets.
We have a combined 30 years experience working with children, and each episode we will bring you up-to-date research and evidence-based strategies to set your children up to thrive.
I'm Lizzy Dawson, Australian exercise physiologist.
I'm Emily Mackie, Australian speech pathologist,
And this is the Move Talk Thrive podcast.
Hey, Em.
Hi, Lizzie. Let's talk VAs, which is something I feel like I live and breathe all day, every day.
Yeah,
I
you
talk
are
to my
very
VAs
good
more
at
than
it.
I talk to other people.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like you just have got, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's your systems, the way you do your systems, it just works.
Well, I was trying to think, I've had VAs pretty much from maybe the first, I think I may have got my first VA in the second year of business or third year of business. So that would mean
Right.
I've had VAs now for almost 10 years.
Yeah,
Again, so it's like a learning journey on
yeah.
what a VA is and how you work with them and all that kind of stuff. But it's been a solid time. You'd be the same,
And
right?
I,
You've had VAs for a
well, no,
while.
I've just got, I just get all your VAs. I find so when
Oh,
I
that's
feel like
true.
they work with you, you train them up, and then I'm like, oh, have they got any time? And then I seem to get them. I'm like, okay, what you did for M, can you do for me? So,
True,
but
true,
I have
true.
had, I kind of struggled because I struggled with the system side of it initially. So I
Yeah.
tried it probably the same time as you, but I found that like trying to decide what my in office admin, sorry, versus the VA, like I found that difficult and I found the systems quite difficult. So I had a few teething issues, but I probably was just yeah, just the delegation side. I was still
Yeah.
figuring out for myself. Whereas I
Yeah.
think you kind of did that really well. But
Delegation
now
is
I've just got my
key.
system down pat.
Yes, yes. So pretty much like we would both use VAs for work that is is work that we would have to do every month or regularly, like every week, something that's a task that's repeated. So
Yeah.
you can systemize it. We would give that to our VAs that can be done online or computer. Most VAs are trained up. Well, you can get lots of different VAs, but most VAs are trained up in um, all like programs, like all online programs.
Yeah.
So, all your basics like your Word, your Excel, and then you can specify like Canva, whether you want them on Teams, Slack, Trello, Asana, all of your time management softwares, task management softwares, they're all trained up in those things, or um, they can get trained up in those.
They're very, I feel like they're just they're tech minded.
Yes.
So I find, updating websites, all social media and social media
Yeah.
scheduling, graphics. I find them really good at graphics.
Yeah.
Uh, email management, if you've got
Yeah.
templates. Yeah.
Yeah. We should shout out our wonderful VA Mary who does our podcast for us.
Yes. Yes.
So
Thank you,
that's a prime
Mary.
example of we have
Mm.
a VA Mary who sits on our chats with us. So we record the chats and then she has some systems to follow on how to edit the videos, how to put our intros and outros there, how to then post on social media, when to post on social media, and then how to when we're uploading it onto our listening platform and then the show notes, there's lots of things that go in behind one podcast episode, but we've created systems around that and then worked with her so that it's a pretty smooth process now. And so then it enables us to get more episodes out to you guys each week. But that's just an
Can
example
you
of,
imagine if we were doing it?
oh, we wouldn't get episodes out. Like it's just too hard with everything
It'd be
else that we've got
nothing.
going on.
Like,
Yeah. And so I think that's a key thing in delegation, right? A lot of people I talk to, they go, well, it's just quicker for me to do it. So in some regards, like not maybe the podcast, but it's just quicker for me to do it rather than have to teach someone and tell somebody or give feedback to somebody and then do it. But then a lot of the times it's like, well, then how much time is that going to take you in the long run? Like you may as
yeah,
well take a little bit of time at the start, spend extra time with that person to help them and train them. And so that then it frees up your time, but it's freeing up your mental energy as well.
yeah,
So that you don't have to keep thinking about all those tasks, and you can devote your time and your thoughts to something that a VA can't do, like maybe the direction of your business or the strategy or something like that. Um, but yes, so it's often like a bit of a balance between, yes, it will take you more time at the start, but we're in it for the long game. Like it pays
yeah,
off with time.
absolutely. Is it it's like the sustainability piece. Like, is it
Yes.
sustainable for you to continue to do it while achieving like your goals and what you're aspiring to do? I find the social media stuff is such a massive help for me because I get that imposter syndrome. So
Mm.
people ask me all the time, how do you get so much stuff out on social media? And I'm like, I spend one day, and we've spoken about this multiple times, but I
Yeah.
spend one day a month, I do it. And then Casey will do all the graphics, and then I will approve that. And then she makes sure it actually goes up. So she schedules it. And if there's
Yes.
any issues with the scheduling, or she'll share it to stories, all of that sort of stuff. I would not do that. Like I would do the content. I would do terrible graphics, but I wouldn't actually post them. Like if it was up to me to post them, or even using later or whatever, I just wouldn't do that because I would chicken
Freak
out.
out.
So I just delegate that to her and then it's done, and I will literally see it, and if someone comments on it, I will comment back. And that's my job from that point.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's really helpful. That's really
Mm,
helpful for consistency, right? And
yes. And
actually
that's what
showing
I
up
think it allows you to do, that
consistent.
consistency.
Yep. Yep. Well, that's because they're doing the same tasks that are repeated over and over and over again. Not always, but yeah, for the most part. Um, in terms of like onboarding a VA, I have found that I record videos of my screen and I'll share them, like say on Loom. And then I've created in Loom like a folder that says policies and procedures or processes. And so if someone starts and say they need to learn something, I'll say go and watch these videos, and they can then pause and unpause and rewind and see all the steps that I would do to complete the task, because that's then what they need to do. So onboarding can be helpful because often people think, well, the VA is virtual, so I'm not sitting in a meeting, I'm not sitting in a room with them in a meeting. How do I train them up? And our VAs are in the Philippines, so they're not even in the same country. So you've got to have a few things like that with your onboarding to help train them up. So videos, you can have written procedures as well. I do Trello. I think you use Asana, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I use Trello, and then on my Trello board, I have um, a task list of all sort of procedures as well, and setup and onboarding as well, if I need to do anything like that with someone, or we just have task boards which have steps for the procedures that I want done each month and or however regularly I want them done. I use Google Calendar on the back end, and so I have 3 types of Google Calendars, and I'll have like one is for customers, one is for the business, one is for then the marketing. And so then I have tasks each day that I want them to do, or to check in with or whatever. And then under each task, I'll have steps of where they can find the procedure or what they can do. And that all of that has taken a lot of time to set up, but it helps them with the onboarding and it helps them to stay on track with what they're doing and keep accountable. And I know what they're doing. And I'm not having to come back and say, where are we at today? What are we doing today?
Yeah.
What do I need your help with today? And so that's like, so Google Calendar, Trello, Loom, that's 3 platforms that I've just mentioned. I also use Voxer, which you use Voxer too. That's how me and Lizzy talk to each other on Voxer. Everyone knows about Voxer. I will use Voxer with the VAs all the time. Personally, I find voice messaging just so much easier than texting.
Yeah.
And then because it's international as well, the people that we're talking to, that's just like, it just is easy to do that. So Vox is another platform that I'll use. That's 4 platforms. You use Asana. What
Yeah.
other
I'm just
platforms are
trying
you
to
using?
think what else we use. I
We
think
use
everything's
OneDrive.
on.
We
Hey.
use
Oh yeah,
Teams.
Google
We use
Drive.
OneDrive, Teams,
We
and
use
then some businesses I work with, we have Slack. So they're on
yeah.
Slack as well. So that's already 8 platforms that they're on. Because
Yeah.
can you imagine if you were just doing all these platforms by yourself? This is why
I
you need a
know.
virtual assistant, someone who can be across the tech.
Yeah. Kajabi.
Kajabi is where our websites are built. And then obviously we have our podcasting platforms. That's already 10 platforms, like
Yeah.
Spotify. That's 10 platforms that they're across.
Do
So
you use your VAs in Speak About in your clinic side of things or just in
yeah,
your Emily Mackie? Yeah.
more stronger in my Emily Mackie side, but yes,
Yeah.
VAs pop in and out of Speak About, definitely with the social media marketing.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes with the financial stuff and the bookkeeping type stuff, like if it's just checking invoices or it's just
Yeah.
making sure that emails were sent, that type of thing. I've been pretty clear, like I would never use a VA for the front end on the phone. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's because we're a speech pathology business. It's a bit of expertise and technical knowledge that the
Mm,
admin needs to have. Plus, it's mums calling up and they want to speak to someone who they're going to see in the clinic. So
yeah.
it could work to have a VA for your front end, depending on what your goals are in your business. But my
Yeah.
VAs have always just supported from the back end.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, so they'll do a lot of back end tasks like that, sometimes emails, correspondence,
Yeah.
bookkeeping.
You can also use them for like clinical guidelines and adherence.
Mm.
So note checking and auditing, running
Developing
financial
procedures.
reports, yeah, developing procedures, all of that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, I find them really good for getting anything up on any socials, any website, uh, any, yeah, like tech stuff with Kajabi. Like if I need to run a report, like how many have I sold this month, or like getting my dashboard done. Casey
Yes.
does all that as well. And they just do it every week. Like it's not like you tell them to do it and then they stop doing it after a few weeks. They will literally do it every week.
Yeah.
So
Well, that would be
it's,
the
I
same in
find
your
that,
clinic business. Like, you've got certain numbers that you want to get each week, like how many new leads do we have? How many conversions do
yeah,
we have? How many kids came in for therapy? What were our utilizations? The VA helps with all of that. And so obviously you and I are speaking from big teams, but a VA, I also had a VA when I was just at the start. It was very small. And so the VA can either work for you full time, they can do like 2 hours a day, they can do 2 hours a week. Like it's very flexible because they can have multiple different clients. And so you can sort of work with what you need. If you are thinking of getting a VA on, what I would encourage you to do is to look at all the tasks that you do and
mm,
think like, what of these tasks are done online and what am I doing the same thing each week? And how much time is that taking me? Because then that might give you an indication of how many hours you get a VA for. Like a lot of people then say, well, I don't know like where to start. I don't know how many
yeah,
hours to get them for. And then you think, okay, well, if I want them to do these 3 things and I want that done once a week, then you might get them once a week for 2 hours. Because
yeah,
I know at the start it can be really tight with cash flow when you're a startup and you're wanting to make sure that you spend your money wisely, which you should always be doing that. But at the start it can be really tight. So,
yeah.
So maybe just like starting a bit there and then you can sort of build up. It's also the same as having a working relationship with anyone on the ground. You need to develop rapport with the VA. You need to develop an understanding with them. They need to know how you work and you need to know how they work. And you need to make sure you're a right fit for each other as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that the VAs have made such a big difference in just probably the marketing side and even like keeping me accountable to things. Like if I delegate them something, they'll follow up on that. So I will quite often put it in my planning and then they'll be like, hey Liz, I'm just checking on this. And it's like, yep, that's right. I said, I need to get them
Yeah.
that information. So I think
Yeah.
one thing that can be a trap is that you like they're very much there to be directed by you. So
Yeah.
you need to direct them in what you need them to be doing and approve the work. They don't necessarily kind of take strategic initiative or creative initiative. You might get some that would do that, but they're very much going to be guided by you. So I think there is an element of management in there. And again, that is going to be top heavy at the start, and then they will know the way in which you work. So I think it's about kind of executing what you are telling them to do, rather than driving ideas, I guess. They're not a
Yeah.
marketing manager.
Don't
You can get
expect.
virtual marketing managers though, but
Yeah, well, because like if you're getting a virtual assistant, like that's what you're talking about. But if you want someone who's going to be more directive, then that would be a different title of person.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, they are, and it depends as they work with you long enough, then they get
yeah,
to know how you work and can
yeah,
anticipate your
totally.
moves.
Yeah,
But yes, it is very much directed by you. So don't think like getting a VA and then you just leave them be, that they'll
yes,
just magically do everything.
yeah.
And sometimes that, like you said, that can be the trap because they're overseas and they're not with you physically.
Mm,
But yes, I think getting a VA has been the best thing I've ever done. And I think that's one of my secrets. Like everyone always says to me, so how do you do it? How do you have all these different companies and brands and then you're at home a lot with your kids? And I say my VAs. My
yeah.
VAs. My VAs are like my
They're
VAs
your
are my
consistency,
secrets.
right? They're your consistency of getting stuff done
Yeah.
and executing your ideas.
Yeah. And as I'm about to go and have a baby, I've done a lot of work in advance so that they can run with it for the next at least 2 months. And so that's how everything will keep flowing. And everyone goes, how are you still posting? And I'm like, oh, because I've got my wonderful team behind me
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
doing it. But if you have questions about VAs, like I would encourage you to have a look online. Like there's lots of different companies that do VAs and you can get VAs from, obviously me and Lizzie have them from the Philippines, but you can also get Australian virtual assistants. You can get VAs from other countries as well. And it's just investigating like what options work for you, what budgets work for you, what tasks you want done, how you want it to look, and being smart about it. But we are happy to answer any questions as much as we can. We're not experts. We just use the VAs. We don't have VA companies or anything like that. But we are happy to answer any questions that you may have about VAs, or if you want to submit some more questions to us asking, specifically how we would do this with a VA, we'd be more than happy to expand in further episodes. But the bottom line is VAs are great. Highly recommend getting them and highly
Agreed.
recommend them, particularly if you're in your startup phase or by yourself and you're needing some help with admin support. They are a great option. Very great option, and they help keep this podcast afloat and they help keep our
Yes.
businesses afloat, don't they?
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you, Mary. So yeah, we just hope that this has just been a short and sweet episode, just a little bit on VAs to help you understand them and what we can do, and also maybe get you to reflect on how much you are doing in your business, how many different platforms you're using in your business, and maybe how you can outsource a lot of what you're doing to help you grow or sustain what you're doing. So yeah, if you have any questions, let us know. Until next time, we will talk to you soon. Thank you for listening.
Bye.